number on a stat sheet in a season that doesn't end with the playoffs, but what did 30 goals mean to you last night?
Yeah, it was definitely something I'd been aiming at getting at some point. I'd been close in the past, so every summer, ever since I had hit the 24 goal mark, I was trying. That was a goal going into the season. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, how we ended isn't the goal, but to hit that was nice.
Travis, kind of following up on that, in 2019-2020, you had what looked like was going to be your breakout year. The next two seasons didn't go the way you wanted. What do you think was different for you about this one in comparison to those two?
I don't know. I mean, the one. I'm getting a little. I'm not older in the league per se, but I've played a few years now, so I think that kind of plays into it. Just understanding the game a little bit better, working on being in better positions to help the team and score and being in better ice for the most part. And then also just coming in here knowing that, with the new staff, you're going to have to prove yourself. And, maybe, that was that season. I think AV was brought on that season. So maybe I was proving myself then too. I'm not too sure, but just tried to work hard and put the work in, and it's just paid off.
How much did the relationship that John Tortorella had with you kind of get you to be the player that you were? Risto was in here earlier, and he said, Torts gave us the kick in the butt that maybe we didn't realize we needed. Would you kind of fall into that same equation, that maybe he gave you or said things to you that maybe you didn't know you needed to hear that really helped?
Yeah, definitely. You just knew every night you had to work hard, and if you didn't, you were going to be held accountable. And there's something to be said about that. When it doesn't matter who you are, you got to go in and put, whether it's practice or morning skate, he's always paying attention to that stuff. So, but yeah, we had a good relationship, and to be honest, we didn't really talk. We just kind of understood each other, and I knew what he expected from me, and when I wasn't giving that, and kind of trending in the wrong direction, I knew that a conversation was going to come, and then that would be it, and we'd get back on track. So
you weren't the only one to have a career season this year. A lot of the younger guys especially stepped up as this team is kind of moving into that rebuild phase. But how much confidence is there with those guys stepping up that maybe you guys can kind of turn this around a little bit quicker than usual?
Yeah, it's really exciting. And for those guys too, it's so important to have that confidence going into next year. And I don't think a lot of us in here are shocked at the seasons that some of the guys had. It was just a matter of getting an opportunity, and this league's kind of all about having that one person believing you and giving you an opportunity, and it's what you do with it. And these guys, they all got a chance to show their skill and their hockey smarts and what they're capable of doing, and it's really big for us moving forward. And I'm sure they'll all say the same thing.
You mentioned that you guys obviously weren't shocked, really, but was there any one player that maybe you can pick out that you're like, I didn't know he had that extra gear in him that he could do something like that?
There's multiple. You can look at all the young guys really, and go through the list of them. The couple that come to mind for me, I know it's not Frosty's first year, but he did a great job at trying to showcase what he's capable of doing. And then Tippy, you guys all saw what Tippy did. He's just, there's not a lot of players like Tippy. He kind of has the full package with the skating, the skill, and he thinks the game the right way. So that's really impressive. And then lastly, Casey, he just, it's just really, really impressive what he was able to do. And I bring him up just last because I played with him, and I had an opportunity to play like half my games with him and just see what he can do. And for him to remind me that much of Coots in his first season is really, really impressive.
I know we talked about this a little bit during the season, but now that we're at the end, looking back at the beginning, how much have you been able to grow as a leader, just with the responsibilities you're given, and also the kind of open structure in the locker room for guys to step in?
Yeah, Yeah, I tried to take on a little bit more of a leadership role. I mean, you could probably ask anyone. It's not, for me, it's not so much the in the room stuff. I still joke around and try to keep things fairly light. And I mean, there's other guys that pick up that and, you know, make sure things are running the right way in the locker room. But I'm more, I just try to, you know, work hard every night and kind of lead by example that way. And but in saying that, like, there's so many guys this year that did that, so it was nice to see guys step up and kind of take on that role.
This year you took on a significant penalty killing role, really for the first time. How much pride is there for you in being that all-situation player?
Yeah, it's always kind of been a goal of mine. Just because I think the thing for me has always just been, like, my hockey sense maybe wasn't always there. It's just, you know, I skate fast and I shoot the puck, and kind of that's all there was to it. And you know, maybe they're right, but I always thought there was something more. And you know, being able to have the opportunity to play on the penalty kill was definitely nice. And you know, we'll see moving forward where it goes, but I definitely enjoyed it this year. And I think it just kept me in games a little bit more and more engaged. You know, if the game wasn't going well, you can make a difference on the penalty kill and maybe get some positive vibes going on the bench. It's definitely something I enjoyed.
Travis, were there any players that you maybe watched from a PK standpoint that maybe you tried to emulate a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, just around us, you know, I think the one guy that I enjoyed watching last year was Cam, and he was really, really good at, you know, creating offense by, you know, just being in the right spots. He was never cheating, but if there was an opportunity to jump when it's the right time, and I kind of learned that from him, just from watching last year. And you know, I'm sure at times that, you know, I maybe was putting us in some bad spots, so there's definitely things I can still clean up. But yeah, probably watching Cam.
TK, I guess going back to way back in October, there was that game against the Sharks where you got sat down for the final two periods. In a way, was that kind of a turning point, not just in terms of, you know, having that first push-pull with Torts, but also just being able to respond to the adversity of a season for you individually?
Yeah, I think that was a big moment for me and for Torts, because after that we had a discussion and kind of built a relationship after that. And like I said, it wasn't like a whole back and forth communicating every day. It was more kind of right after that, and then we understood each other and kind of got that out of the way. And yeah, I was thinking it was a big moment.
But you mentioned that you didn't talk to Tortorella a ton throughout the season, and I think other players have said similar things. How long did it take you to get used to that kind of style where he's not necessarily going to spoon feed you things, but he might want you to come to him with questions or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, every coach has their own style. I think the one thing that you could relate to every coach is if you're not hearing anything, it's probably a good thing. So as long as you're not hearing from them, just kind of keep going about your business and just keep going to work and kind of go, you know, that's kind of all I have for that.
Travis, when Danny was named interim GM, he and the organization were both very clear that this is now a rebuild. And you'd been mentioned as one of the 25 under guys, not exactly that anymore. I guess, where do you see your role in this rebuild, and what is your focus on helping the organization?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just try to do as much as I can do and as much as I can control. I'll just, you know, whatever opportunity I'm given, I'll just continue to try to, you know, work hard through the summer. Whether that means trying to be around here maybe a couple weeks just to be around young guys, or phone calls, or whatever it may be. But, you know, work hard in the summer and then try to set an example at camp, and we'll go from there.
Is it tough for you? You know, you mentioned about how, you know, with Torts, if he's not talking to me, or if coach isn't talking to me, I assume it's a good thing because he doesn't have anything to say. Is it tough for you when some of your best friends on the team, you know, Travis Konecny, Kevin Hayes, you know, they didn't necessarily have the same easy relationship with Torts that you had, in terms of being there for them while also you kind of know in the back of your head that, you have a much better maybe relationship with them than they do.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I could relate with it though, and I don't want to say that I didn't have my time. Like, I had times too with Torts where, he was not pleased with me, and we had those conversations. I'm not saying I went through the season without, any problems, and I was perfect. Like, I was far from that. And we did have our moments, but yeah, with other guys, I could relate to, because I in the past with other coaches have had similar things where you just feel like you're maybe gripping it too tight and things start to spiral and you get frustrated or whatever it may be. I've been there, and it's just, I mean, we're all professionals now at this point, and the guys you mentioned anyways, and they know how to handle themselves. They know. So there isn't a ton of conversation that goes around it. It's just kind of, when you get out of the rink, you try not to talk about hockey, and maybe that's how I could help. When we're in the car, we're just kind of shooting the breeze about other stuff.
Travis, Kevin Hayes kind of hinted that he expects to be traded. How much of a loss would that be to lose Hazy and his veteran leadership?
Yeah, I mean, I remember from the first moment I ever spoke to Hazy was the day I signed, and he was one of the first guys that actually texted me. I had never met him before, and he sent me a nice text, and ever since then, Hazy and I had become pretty close. We actually were on the same card table on the plane, so we sit together every single flight, and we got to know each other really well. And I mean, the impact he has in the locker room around the guys and stuff, honestly, you guys wouldn't even really know. It's just it's so deep, and every single guy loves Hazy and what he brings to the table, and even his family. That, like, we've all interacted with his family over the years at their house and things like that. So he's really bought into being a great teammate, and now on the ice too. You just see what he brings. So I mean, I'm hoping not. I don't have control over any of that stuff, so we'll just see what happens. But at the end of the day, we all love Hazy.
Speaking to another guy that's likely not going to be back as he's a free agent, James Van Riems, he's been around this organization for a long time. You've spent a lot of years with him. Just what is kind of he meant to maybe just you personally and to this locker room, just everything he's been through?
Yeah, Reamer's another one of those guys too, where I've over the years grown to love Reamer and become close with him, and I think one of the things that he's taught me along with everyone else is how to be a good professional, and he gets it more than anybody. He does all the little things that you have to do to be ready for just a practice, a morning skate, a flight. It doesn't matter. Eating the right things. He's brought that into this organization and showed us all the right way to go about that, and then on top of it, just showing that you can do all that and still just be an awesome guy, have fun, and put your time into building relationships with people along with being a good professional. So he has shown everyone the perfect balance of that, and again, we all love James.
Bill, go ahead.
Excuse me, was Hockey Canada in touch with you about playing in the Worlds?
Yes, and I'm not going to be going.